science class. Today we are going to start our class with some facts and figures which are really amazing. Do you know, children, there are about 80,000 species of plants which are edible, and 90% of the plants that humans eat comes from just 30 plants, and 68% of plants are in danger of going extinct. Children, there are over 300,000 known species of plants, and the list is increasing day by day. It means, children, plants are very important to the planet Earth and all living beings. Children, plants take carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, and this oxygen we humans and animals breathe in. Whether the living things are small or large, it does not matter. Plants are important for every living organisms on this planet. So children, we need to grow more and more plants. So we are going to learn about different ways of producing plants. Children, our today's topic is reproduction in plants. Children, in lower classes we have learned that all living organisms have some basic common characteristics. That is, all living organisms need food, all living organisms respire, all living organisms grow, all living organisms respond to stimuli, and all living organisms excrete, all living organisms reproduce. So children, all living organisms have a characteristics that they can produce their own kind. That is, all living organisms reproduce, undergo reproduction. So what do you mean by the word reproduction? Re means again and again, production means to produce their own kind. So children, in this chapter we will learn about how plants reproduce. So before going into that topic, if we take a plant, there are two systems, that is root system and shoot system. Children, the part which is below the soil is the root system, and the part which is above the soil is called shoot system. The shoot system develops into stem, branches, leaves, flower, fruit, etc. Children, can you see here the places from where the branches and the leaves come out? These particular places are called nodes, and the region between two nodes is called internode. Children, as you can see, there are small lump-like structures at the nodes. These small lump-like structures later on develop into leaves, branches or flowers. So these lump-like structures are called bud. Birds can be of two types. It can be vegetative bird or it can be reproductive bird. So the lump-like structure which develop into leaves or branches, these are called vegetative bird, and the birds which develop into flower is called the reproductive bird. So children, basically all the parts of a plant can be divided into two parts. What are they? Vegetative part and the reproductive part. So what is a vegetative part? The vegetative parts are root, stem, leaves, etc. Or the reproductive part of a plant is the flower. Children, the vegetative parts of a plant play a major role in the life processes of plants. For example, leaves prepare foods for the plant, stem conducts water, mineral and nutrients. Similarly, the reproductive part of a plant plays a major role in the reproduction, and that is the flower. Flowers are the reproductive part of a plant. So, children, today we are going to learn about what are the different modes of reproduction. Now we will learn what are the modes of reproduction in plants. Basically, reproduction in plants can be divided into two types: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So what is asexual reproduction? Reproduction in plants without using the seeds is called asexual reproduction. In this type of reproduction, we use root, stem leaves, etc. And in sexual reproduction means reproduction by using seeds. In this, flowers take part in reproduction. So children, we will learn in detail what are the different methods of asexual reproduction. So children, the various types of asexual reproduction. The first method which we are going to learn is vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation means reproduction of plants from the vegetative part of the plant. That is, what are the vegetative parts? As I told you earlier, root, stem and leaves. Or we can say that it is an asexual reproduction in which root, stem and leaves are used to produce a new plant. Now, vegetative propagation can also take place by different methods. That is, by using stem cutting, by using underground stem, or by using the modified roots, or by using the leaves. So, we will see one by one. The first one is by stem cutting. Children, now let's see how plants can be produced by stem cutting method. Children, some plants we can grow by stem cutting technique. So the stem cutting should have some buds on it. Lower end of the stem is buried in the soil and the upper end of the stem which contains the bud is kept above the soil. And we have to keep on watering this stem cutting. And after some days, this stem cutting will develop new roots and the buds will grow into a shoot and later on develop into a full plant. Thus, we can get a identical plant to the parent plant. So, this is a technique by which we can grow a plant by stem cutting technique. Plants like rose, sugarcane, champa, grapes, etc. are grown by stem cutting techniques. The next technique is by underground stem. Children, we can also grow plants by using some of the underground stem. Some plants have modified underground stem which are used to produce plants. For example, potato, onion and garlic, ginger and turmeric. Children, these are the modified stem which we use to consume. Children, in potato it is known by the name tubers, and in garlic and onion it is known by the name bulb, and in turmeric and ginger it is known by the name rhizome. So all these are actually the modified stem, modified underground stem which we use to consume. By using this underground stem also we can do multiplication of plants or we can reproduce plants. For example, if we take the example of potato, the potato that we consume is actually an modified stem, underground stem, and this is called tuber. As you can see the structures here, these are called the eyes of potato. These are the buds. And if we need to grow a potato plant, what we have to do? We have to cut the potato into pieces, and one thing we have to keep in mind that each piece should contain 1 or 2 buds, that is 1 or 2 eyes, and these potato pieces are buried in the soil and keep on watering these pieces. And children, after some days we will find that a new plant comes out from the piece of potato. So actually it is a modified underground stem. See, you can see this here, the birds are growing, and from here if we cut the potato and bury it in the soil, we can produce a new plant of potato. So this was the vegetative propagation by underground stem. Now we can also do vegetative propagation by using the leaves of some plants. Some plants reproduce by their leaves. For example, the leaf of bryophyllum. The leaf of bryophyllum, as you can see in the picture, it has around the boundaries you can see some birds, and when this leaf falls off to the ground, new plant arises from each bird. So we can also multiply the plants by using the leaves of plants. Children, in some plants we do vegetative propagation by the roots. Some plants have thickened modified roots. For example, sweet potato and dahlia. In these plants, we can produce the new plants by using the modified roots. There are some birds which are present on the root, and when these roots are buried in the soil, new plants comes out or new plants arises from these birds. So till now we have learned that we can reproduce the plant asexually by vegetative propagation. So what are the methods we have learned? Number one, by stem cutting. Examples include rose, sugarcane, grapes, champa, etc. Similarly, we can do vegetative propagation by underground modified stem, that is in potato, onion and garlic, ginger and turmeric. We have also learned that we can do vegetative propagation by leaves and by the modified roots. Now, children, what is the importance of vegetative propagation? Why it is important? There are some advantages of vegetative propagation. Children, we can produce plants which do not produce seeds by vegetative propagation. Plants produced by vegetative propagation takes less time to mature and bear the flower and fruit. Similarly, the most important thing is the new plants which are produced are the exact copies of their parent. Our next asexual method by which plants reproduce is budding. So, budding occurs in yeast cell. Children, here I want to tell you that yeast is not a plant, it is a fungi. It is a single cell organism, and if proper nutrients are provided to it, it multiplies very rapidly in every few hours. Children, under favorable conditions, a small bulb-like structure comes out from the yeast called bud. The bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent cell. Sometimes another bud arises from the bud, forming a chain of buds. This process continues and a large number of yeast cells are produced. Our next method of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Some algae reproduce by fragmentation. So algae are slimy green patches which are found in ponds and in stagnant water bodies. When algae matures, it breaks up into 2 or 3 fragments, and each fragment develops into an individual organism. If water and nutrients are available, algae grow and multiply rapidly by fragmentation. They cover a large area in a short period of time. Children, the next asexual method by which some mosses, fern and fungi reproduce is known as spore formation. So children, what are spores? Spores are small, microscopic, unicellular reproductive bodies which are protected by a hard covering to protect it from the unfavorable conditions like high temperature and low humidity. So when the conditions are favorable, this hard protective cover bursts and the spores are exposed, and the new plants are produced from these spores. These spores are not seeds. Children, if we look at fungi using a microscope, you can see a sporangium which contains spores. When sporangium bursts, spores are released in the air. Under favorable conditions, spore germinates and develops into a new individual. So children, let's summarize what are the asexual methods by which a plant can reproduce. So the first one is vegetative propagation. The vegetative propagation can take place by stem cutting, underground stem, by leaves or by modified roots. The second method what we have learned is by budding, that it occurs in yeast cells. And then we have learned a method by which the algae reproduces, that is by fragmentation. And then some mosses, ferns and fungi reproduce by the spore formation. Now let's understand how sexual reproduction occurs in plants. First, what is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction means multiplication of plant using seed. To understand sexual reproduction in plant, first we have to understand the structure of flower. Flower is the reproductive part of the plant, and in lower classes we have learned about the structure of flower. So the structure of flower contains 4 parts. The first one is sepal, petal, pistil and stamen. So sepal is the green part, leaf-like structure which covers the bud. The colorful part of the flower is called the petal, and pistil, it is the female reproductive part of the flower, and stamen, it is the male reproductive part of the flower. Again, the pistil, that is the female reproductive part, can be divided into 3 parts. What are they? Stigma, style and ovary. Similarly, the male reproductive part, that is the stamen, can be divided into 2 parts. What are they? Anther and filament. Flowers are the reproductive part of a plant. These flowers can be divided into 2 types: unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers. Let's see what are unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers. Children, what are unisexual flowers? Flowers which contain either pistil or either stamen are called unisexual flowers. For example, unisexual flowers occur in corn, papaya and cucumber. Now, what are bisexual flowers? Bisexual flowers which contains both the male and female reproductive part of a flower is called bisexual flower. For example, bisexual flowers occur in mustard, rose and petunia. Children, now let's find out how sexual reproduction occurs in plants. Anther produces pollen grains, and the pistil has 3 parts, that is the stigma, style and ovary. The ovary contains the ovules, and these ovules contain 1 or more eggs. Children, sexual reproduction requires the fusion of male gamete and the female gamete to form a new cell called zygote. So, how the fusion of male and female gametes occurs? Children, sexual reproduction requires the fusion of male gamete and the female gamete to form a new cell which is called as zygote. But children, how the male gametes reach the female gametes? Let's find out. The male gametes reach the female gametes by the process of pollination. So, what is pollination? Transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the flower is called pollination. What is pollination? The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. Children, pollination are of 2 types. Children, pollination are of 2 types: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Let's understand what is self-pollination and cross-pollination. When the pollen lands on the stigma of the same flower, it is called self-pollination. And when the pollen of a flower lands on the stigma of another flower of the same plant or that of a different plant, this is called cross-pollination. Children, pollination occurs by some pollinating agents. So what are the pollinating agents? Pollinating agents are wind, water and animals. Pollen grains are very light. They can be easily carried by wind and water. Similarly, when the insects visit flowers, they carry pollen grains on their bodies. Children, now let's understand how fertilization takes place. That is, the process by which the male and the female gamete fuses to form a new cell which is called zygote. Let's understand the process of fertilization. Process of fertilization. When pollen grain containing male gamete lands on stigma of a flower, pollen tube begins to grow. Pollen tube grows through the style and reaches the ovule inside the ovary. Male and female gametes fuse together to form the zygote. This process is called fertilization. The zygote develops into an embryo. After fertilization, the ovary grows into fruit. It means that fruit is nothing but the ripened ovary. Similarly, the ovules develop into, and these seeds contains the embryo which develops into a new plant under favorable condition. Children, now let's understand what is seed dispersal. The transportation of the seeds from the parent plant to different places is called seed dispersal. Seed dispersal occurs by some agents like wind, water and animals. Why the seed dispersal is important? Because seed dispersal allows the growth of same kind of plant in different regions. It also minimizes the competition for food, sunlight, water and nutrients among the plants found in a particular region. Children, now let's see some of the seeds which are dispersed by wind. Maple and drums are dispersed by wind. Similarly, grasses due to their light weight are dispersed by wind. Coconut is a seed which is dispersed by water because of its floating ability and due to the presence of spongy and fibrous coating. Similarly, some seeds which are dispersed by animals are xanthium and urina, which gets attached to the bodies of the animals.
Dispersal of seeds is very important for the survival of plant species. If plants grow too closely together, they have to compete for light, water and nutrients. The longer a seed stays in the air, the farther it can be blown by the wind, helping the plant species widely scatter its offspring. Winds carry winged seeds and lightweight seeds to distant places. Many insects and birds and their youngs feed on seeds. In the process of feeding, seeds can be dispersed by simply knocking the seed from the plant to the ground or by being carried to great distances from the parent plant.
Children, let's summarize what we have learned in this chapter, that is reproduction in plants, but in a very different manner. Let's play a very simple quiz, that is MCQ. So are you ready? Okay, here we go. The first question. Vegetative propagation in potato takes place by, options are leaves, stem, root, seed. So the answer is vegetative propagation in potato takes place by stem. Question number 2. In which of the following plants birds are present on the margins of leaves? Options are Bryophyllum, touch me not, chandan or coriander. So children, so the answer is Bryophyllum. Next question. The yeast reproduction occurs by, options are binary fission, fragmentation, spore formation and budding. So the answer is yeast reproduces by budding. Next question. Ria observed that a pond with clear water was covered up with a green algae within a week. By which method of reproduction did the algae spread so rapidly? Your options are budding, sexual reproduction, fragmentation and pollination. So the answer to this question is algae reproduced by the method of fragmentation. The next question. In flowering plants, male gamete is formed inside which part? Options are ovary, anther, pistil, ovule. So the answer is male gametes are formed inside anther. Next question. Fertilization means, options are fusion of female gamete, fusion of male gamete, fusion of male and female gamete, all the above. So children, you know the answer. Fertilization is fusion of male and female gamete. Our next question is mature ovule forms. Options are seed, fruit, buds, endosperm. So the answer is mature ovule forms seed. Our next question. Bread mold reproduced by, options are fragmentation, spore formation, budding, all the above. So the bread mold, which is a fungi, reproduces by the process of spore formation. The next question. Rose plant is grown by which process? Options are A. Leaf cutting, B. Stem cutting, C. Seed, D. Root cutting. So the answer is rose plant is grown by stem cutting. Our next question. Bisexual flowers are those flowers which have both. Options are pollen grains and stamens, B. ovary and pollen grains, C. stamens and pistils, D. pistils and ovary. So children, bisexual flowers are those flowers which have both stamens and pistils. The next question is, male reproductive part is, options are pistil, stamen, ovary, flower. So children, what is the male reproductive part? Male reproductive part is stamen. So the next question is, the process in which plant can give rise to new plants without seeds is called, options are asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, fragmentation or pollination. So children, the process in which plants can give rise to new plants without seeds is called as asexual reproduction. Our next question, a small bulb-like projection which comes out of yeast cell is called, options bud, flower, spores or zygote. So children, the answer is bud. Children, our next question, in sexual reproduction, a male and female gametes fuse to form a cell. What it is called? A flower, a spore, a fungi or a zygote. So children, the answer is zygote. The next question, in onion, repeat, in onion and garlic, new plants are produced from, options are bulbs, tubes, leaf buds, subaerial stems. So children, the answer is onion and garlic, new plants are produced from bulb. So children, I hope you have enjoyed this class, that is reproduction in plants, and we have played a quiz also. Keep smiling and keep learning. Goodbye children.